Hi, this is Sue Field from Health Force Minnesota that we have available for you called the Healthcare Core Curriculum. It's a great foundational course for any type of healthcare career pathway or even as a standalone course for your high school program. What is the Healthcare Core Curriculum? It's a series of entry-level courses for a student with little or no experience with healthcare. One of the really wonderful things is that it has a career exploration in one area of it so that the students get an idea of multiple different careers in the healthcare setting. Then it focuses on basic skills needed to work in any type of healthcare setting. It really looks at competencies, and it is really a first step to many health professions. It's a standardized curriculum that has been created by Minnesota high school and college partners and has been used throughout the state in high schools and colleges. Why use the healthcare core in a health science career pathway? Well, once again, multiple schools are beginning to offer this, and there are colleges in the state that are now requiring the healthcare core in their degree programs. So this could be marketed in your high school with the incentive that up to 4 credits could be applied to healthcare career pathways in specific colleges, which is really a win-win for the student, for your high school, and for the college programs. Another thing that we have available is a NOCTI exam, and this exam is specific for our healthcare core curriculum course. It has been developed by subject matter experts within Minnesota, our high school instructors, along with college faculty. And it can be taken in high school to assure that students meet these competencies of the course. The benefits is that for students, it shows them what they know. Teachers, it helps them highlight their students' growth. They can also analyze the data and identify strengths and weaknesses. And then the schools can meet state and federal assignment or assessment requirements. So it's a win-win for everybody. I'd like to tell you about the resources because this is what really sells the course to instructors. The first is that we have an Educate the Educator online course, which is a self-paced course in which the instructor learns how to teach the curriculum. Then we have something brand new for a course that's already developed for students. It's a Hcc course, which is in 3 different learning management systems. We have it in D2L, which is D2L Brightspace Learning Management System, but we also have it now in Schoology and Moodle as well, and that's for a yearly lease. Well, what resources are available to teach the healthcare core? Once again, I mentioned that Educate the Educator course. This is required for those who are going to teach the Hccc. It is a self-paced online 7-module course. It costs $150 for 7 continuing education clock hours, and upon completion of the course, you have access to the online curriculum and a certificate of completion you receive. Once you take that course, you receive instructor resource guides, PowerPoint presentations, learning activities, website links, YouTube movies, and regular movies, links to movies, and then assessment methods as well, including your tests and rubrics for grading assignments. This new online Hccc course for students is really a wonderful course. It's fully developed. I believe that the high schools use primarily Moodle and Schoology. It includes the 7 modules from the healthcare core. What we do is we have the lessons created by one of our content specialists, and they are up in a program called Soft Talk and are located up in the internet cloud. And then we link those down to your learning management system. Our plans are to keep the lessons updated on a yearly basis by Health Force Minnesota. We also have assignments chosen in discussions and quizzes within the learning management system, and those are very modifiable by the instructor. So if the instructor doesn't like something that's in there, they can adjust it and swap out something else that they have access to from the Educate the Educator course. There is a yearly lease for that. For this year, while we are piloting it, it's $500 for the school year. The healthcare core modules are 64 hours. If you're looking at college credit, that's about a 4 credit course. The HCCC can also be used as a pathway to the nursing assistant. You probably, if you're using nursing assistant curriculum, are using the 75-hour Minnesota state curriculum that we've had for quite a few years. The Minnesota Department of Health has now approved the HCCC as a pathway to the nursing assistant. This one becomes 128-hour HCC nursing assistant skills, and what that is comprised of is 64 hours for the didactic HCCC, plus 24 hours of clinical, plus 40 hours of lab, for a total of 128 hours. So just so that you're aware that that is an option available as well when you use the HCCC. If you are going to use that, you are required to complete the HCC Educate the Educator course, and you also need to turn that certificate in to the Minnesota Department of Health. And then you are also required to notify the Minnesota Department of Health prior to starting the HCCC if you plan to use the 128-hour HCC Nursing Assistant Skills course. Once again, there are 2 approved nursing assistant curriculums that we can use. The first one is that 128-hour HCC Nursing Skills Lab Clinical course with 64 hours HCC plus 40 hours lab plus 24 hours clinical for a total of 128 hours. You are required to have the entire thing pre-approved by MDH prior to using the curriculum, and you are required to track all 128 hours. There is also a 75-hour Minnesota State Nursing Assistant course. That's the standard one that people have used for years. That one, the HCC is not required for, and there are 16 hours of clinical and 59 hours of lab and lecture combined. You can, of course, use the HCC as a prerequisite to that in your high school course, but it's not required for that 75-hour course. But it's a great foundation for your students. What I'd like to do before I go into each one of the modules is I would like to show you those modules in a course that we have developed in Moodle, so you can get a good idea of what this online course is like and how you might use it. Now, this, of course, could be used as an online course, but I also have schools that are using it as a supplement to their face-to-face course. So they may use this to have the students have assignments and to do some homework. They may use the lessons right in class. It's totally up to them. But I would like to show you the very first module is Behaviors for Success in Healthcare Settings. And we have a couple lessons. And here we have Careers in Healthcare and Healthcare Systems. Those are the 2 lessons that are up in the cloud. We have an activity, a personal career interest matching survey, and then we have another one, surgical showdown discussion, and then there's a quiz, and then a test. So just so that you're aware of how this works. Module 2, or Unit 2 for Module 1, Behaviors for Success, we continue into behaviors and personal characteristics for healthcare, personal appearance and hygiene, characteristic, then activity of characteristic profile, and then employer expectations discussion and a quiz. In our Module 2, Awareness and Sensitivity to Client Needs, We're looking at human growth and development and basic human needs. Those are the two lessons. Then we have an activity, Maslow's hierarchy scenario, life stages discussion, and a quiz. So you'll find typically we'll have an activity, a discussion, and a quiz for each one of these groups of lessons. Then we have the family and acute and chronic illness for the next lessons. Activity is coping with Alzheimer's. The discussion is patient and family-centered care, and then a quiz. Module 3 is communications in healthcare. Lessons are components of communication, recording, reporting, and documentation. Activity is a written communication activity, and then we have a healthcare communication discussion and a quiz. Continuing on the communication in healthcare, we have teamwork, professional leadership, and conflict management lessons. Then we have an activity, leadership style self-assessment, and a teamwork discussion and a quiz. Then we have healthcare ethics. We look at values in this one and professional boundaries for the lessons. Personal core values as an activity, accountability discussion, and then a quiz. Healthcare ethics, we have ethical decision-making lesson, ethical ethics collage, and then a quiz. Legal issues in healthcare, we have healthcare laws, legal action, current events, and a quiz. Legal issues in healthcare under social media, we have a social media white paper lesson, which is really interesting. Consequences of misusing social media, and then a social media activity and a quiz. Respecting client and staff diversity, we have a lesson on that, cultural diversity activity, and a discussion and a quiz. Then healthcare safety and standard precautions, we have a lesson, hospital safety, and a safety discussion and a quiz. Infection control and standard precautions, then we talk about hand washing and personal protective equipment, chain of infection, and a quiz. And then we have a portfolio assignment at the very end. What I would like to do is I would like to show you in one of our lessons here what it looks like, just so you kind of get an idea of that. So we're going to go to basic human needs because I think that's a short lesson, so I can show it to you kind of quickly. So the first thing that you see when you get up here is a score center. And what I want you to see is that within this lesson, there are 2 activities, it says, that are actually scored in here. And what you can do is change the grading method you want. So you can change it that the student can, the grade goes in for the first score. It could be the most recent score, the highest score, or the average score. You can change the maximum attempts. It can be unlimited. It can be 1 if you'd want. And then you can also determine how many attempts that they need to complete. So it can you can adjust all of these for each one of these quizzes then. So I want to show you the lesson and what it looks like. So this particular one has 12 pages in it, and it tells you each page what the lesson is. So let's go into this first one. The first page here will have our competencies for this particular lesson. And then this is the lesson part, which starts by talking about human needs. And then it goes into Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And there's actually a little YouTube video here that the students will play. It's about 3 minutes and 44 seconds about what those hierarchy of needs are. And then we've got the physiological needs, and there's some didactic on that and a picture. And then we've got safety needs. And here's addressing the fear of offering solutions here with the dental anxiety management. That's a YouTube video that's embedded. And then we have love and infection, and here's a little YouTube video on clinically dead baby revived by mother. And then we have esteem, and there's something on nursing home insurance. It's a little YouTube video on that. So this becomes the lesson for this. And then they end up with self-actualization. Now what I want to show you next is the part that is graded. And that must be on this following. Oh, there is a learning activity that takes you out to a Maslow's learning activity. And this one here, the student can practice. They go next on this, and they print this page, and then they'll have different, I'll show you what this is. They have different situations, and the student has to decide which precedence is taking over, and is it love and belonging, safety and security, those things. It's a woman's been raped 3 years ago and is still having problems in forming new relationships. So this is something that they can practice on. And then going into this lesson again, this is what's kind of fun on this, is because you can it's a drag and drop, and this is scored. So depending upon what you allow your students, how many times you allow them, it could be the first time. If they've done that practice lesson, you might just want the first time to be graded. So here's safety and security. That would be, let's see, I believe that's right here. And I scored 1 out of 5 here. Self-actualization, I know that's up at the top. I scored 2. Let's say that I put esteem down here. Whoops, that was wrong, so I didn't get it. I'm going to put it up where it should be. It does not give me a point for that. I'm still at 2 over 5. Physiological and love and affection. So I ended up with 4 over 5 on that one. Now here's another one. Click the deck of cards to view a card. I want to chair that committee. So that would be, let's see, esteem. I hope I won't go broke because of my illness. Physical needs? Nope. Safety need? Yep. Please lock the door. That would be safety. I know I can be the class president. Self-actualization. I hope they think my idea was good. Esteem. I wish they would invite me to lunch. Love and affection. I'm exhausted. Physical need. Those people in that office are just mean. I'm going to put safety, and it's wrong. Love and affection. I'm starving. Physical needs. I will succeed with that new program. Self-actualization. If you notice, I got 8 out of 10 correct on that one. And then there's one other one. And these are some questions here. Which is the following is not a physiological need? Well, let's go freedom from fear. When the healthcare provider focuses on the patient's strengths, which need is he or she helping to meet? I'll just put physiological. When the healthcare provider leaves a water pitcher next to the patient's bed, which need is he helping to meet? I'll put love and affection. I'm just going to answer these just any way that I want. You can see that they are all application type. And then here I got 1 out of 5 on those. So I got them all wrong, except for the first one, right? So this will tally up the scores, and they will put them actually in your grade, directly into your grade book. We've got it set up for that. So I just wanted to show you kind of what the lessons are like, so you are aware of what you would be getting in that course if you chose to lease it. Once again, awareness and sensitivity to client needs is 8 hours. We include emotional, spiritual, social, and mental health needs, and we look at death and dying and how it affects the clients and families. Behaviors for success is the 8 hours that has the career exploration, and we look at employment and workplace behavior and expectations of teams and all those sort of things, some selected abbreviations. Communications in healthcare is 16 hours, and we look at interpersonal communication, team communication, conflict management, documentation, electronic medical records, those sort of things. Module 4, healthcare ethics, we're looking at ethical decision making and personal values of our students, and also professional ethical values. Legal issues in healthcare, we look at healthcare laws, confidentiality, HIPAA, liability, and the impact of law and regulation on healthcare systems. We also go quite a bit into social media on that one. Respecting client and staff diversity, we go into working with the different diverse cultures along with showing respect to them as patients and as coworkers. And then healthcare safety and standard precautions, we go through the infection control, hand washing, gloving, procedures to respond to emergencies. So there's 7 short courses. You can put them in any order you want. You can customize them any way you want. The colleges, what we're trying to get the colleges across the system to do is to require the healthcare core in some of their allied health programs. So for example, at Minnesota Community and Technical College, they have the healthcare core curriculum at the college level. Roosevelt High School has it for 4 credits with concurrent enrollment with them. And then they use it is a pathway to nursing assistant for them. And then they can go into the nursing program from there. They also require it for their Central Service Technician certificate for 10 credits and their Dental Support Personnel certificate, 4 credits of the Healthcare Core plus another 13 credits for dental support. And then that's a pathway to dental assistant diploma. And then they also require it for their Pharmacy Technician certificate, which could be a program to your pre-pharmacy at the University of Minnesota. Anoka Ramsey has 5 high schools that articulate the Hccc for credit, and then they have 3 credits they accept towards a pharmacy technician for a 30 credit certificate, which is also a pathway to pharmacy technology AS degree. And then you can go on further beyond the community college with that. They have it as an elective for integrative health and healing, and then that can go on for their AS degree as well, and then a pathway to bachelor's and master's. Pine Technical offers it online and ITV to 13 high schools, and they have a pre-professional certificate that it's required for. They also have the 2 credit nursing assistant, which goes then into their LPN and RN programs, and then they also require it for their medical assistant. So we're working with other colleges as well to further develop it into different career pathways in the college systems, so we can have a direct pathway from our high schools to our colleges. We also have developed information on developing health science programs, and we have a framework, and I'll have a separate video on that, multiple resources for you in developing a health science program, including the course outlines and many of the different codes that you need.